Today, for Connect with Your Market, we have Katie Hardman. Katie has served in the real estate industry since 2009. She started her career in real estate working on a team during the height of the foreclosure market, where they processed hundreds of REO properties. Since then, Katie has focused on her customer service, leadership, and business development through her various market center roles. She has worked in real estate on the national level, where she served as director at Keller Williams Realty International in Austin, Texas, and also most recently as the team leader at KWSC and the COO of our Experience Brokerage Network. Her passion is people, which is why she's excited to be teaching the Connect with Your Market session. And I will turn things over to Katie. Hey.
Yay. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. And I have to start, you guys, by apologizing. I am so sick. And so I'm going to make it through as much as I can today. And if I can't, I hope that you guys understand, but we'll get through as much as we can. I'm especially passionate about this topic, Connect with Your Market, because I have been in multiple markets in multiple states. I've been in the real estate industry in California, in Texas, and now in Oregon. So I understand the importance of connecting with your market and specifically your local market. So I'm going to bring up my slides here. Can you guys see my slides? Perfect. Thank you, Dee. Okay, so today we're going to talk about connecting with your market. And this is the third piece of real estate expert of choice. So today we are covering Connect with Your Market. We'll go over different factors to research and consider to be prepared before meeting with clients. This is the path to becoming the real estate expert of choice. So what we'll cover is first knowing your market. Second, building your expertise. Third, utilizing resources. And then we'll recap and talk about what we've learned and how we can implement those skills. So this is a great quote from Gary Keller that says, here's the truth. If it has been done in another market, it can be done in your market. Once it has been done, no matter where, it's just a matter of finding out how it can be possible in your market. And I know we are covering the whole state of Oregon. So we have slightly different markets. And so if you hear something going on in Portland, that doesn't mean it can't happen in Medford or Eugene or Salem. It's just figuring out the nuances to make it work in your market. So start thinking about what we'll learn today. Let's consider what questions you might have or you think a client might have when it comes to knowing the market. What do you guys think? What questions come up about the market? Any thoughts?
Well, I think we need to know the market. I think we need to be able to answer questions, which is, getting out there and just previewing a lot. I think that really adds to our confidence, right?
Absolutely, Dee. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where you should start, is actually knowing what is out there, knowing the market. And you answered what my next question was going to be, is how do you connect with your market? What does that mean? And that's actually knowing it, actually going out and previewing properties, looking at the statistics, knowing what's on the MLS, so that when you get questions, you know how to answer those. Okay. So know your market. Knowing and connecting with your market is all about research and preparation. Generally, there are two levels of any market. There's a macro level and there's a micro level. What do you think a macro level market is? Anybody want to take a stab at that? What's a macro market?
I suppose it's an overall and wholesome type of market, looking at everything from the outside.
Absolutely, Fitzo. That's a great answer. It's the whole picture. So it's the United States would be a macro level market, or an entire city would be the macro level market. So on the other side of things, what's a micro market or a micro level market? Anybody
Looking at like neighborhoods and smaller areas and such.
Yeah, Neil, exactly. It's getting even smaller to say what's going on in this specific neighborhood, what's going on in this specific community, what's going on in this specific street. That would be considered a micro market. So you've got macro, large scale, and micro, which is small scale. So now a question about your market. What do you know about your macro or micro market? I know we're all new to the industry, but what do you know about your market?
Well, I know that when I was talking to, when I was buying my house here in Southern Oregon, the agent that I used was talking to me about, you know, like being near things like, as far as like the floodplains and flood areas are very much part of this market that were not part of the market that I came from. That was not something we ever even talked about. So that's part of this market.
Yeah, that's interesting, Dee, right? Like if you change states or if you change cities, there's some nuances about, like, I wouldn't have thought about floodplains. So that's a great example of that. The material says, to be the real estate expert, you must understand your market of the moment. You see, markets change constantly and sometimes rapidly, and it requires you to pay attention, read the signs, and truly understand your market. This is the only way for you to be an expert and to be the fiduciary. This is the only way that you can deliver expertise and perspective on the market that you and your clients are in. So when we talk about knowing your market, there's 5 different categories or things to be thinking about. And the first one is the type of market. So there are 3 types of real estate markets on the screen: buyer's market, balanced market, and seller's market. What do you think determines which one of those that we're in currently?
How quickly houses are selling, how quickly things are turning over, I guess is the word for it.
Yeah, Corey, that's a great answer. How much inventory is on the market and how many months of inventory we have, or how quickly that is selling. So great answer. Thank you for saying that, Corey. So what's a buyer's market? What does that mean? I know on here it says more than 7 months of inventory. What does that mean?
I think what it means is that the buyers have got more choice, so the prices tend to be lower.
Yep. I will read you guys the official answer, but so you're so right. In a buyer's market, houses are not selling extremely rapidly. A buyer's market means there are more homes for sale on the market than there are interested buyers. Supply of houses is greater than demand. There is a large inventory of houses available. This puts the buyer at an advantage and can possibly get a great home for an affordable price. Supply is bigger than demand if there's more than 7 months of inventory. And that means we're in a buyer's market. So then what's a seller's market?
Less than.
Yeah.
Smaller amount of inventory.
Yeah, exactly right, Dee. In a seller's market, the demand is higher than the supply, which means we have less than 5 months of inventory, and the seller has the advantage in that market because they have the product that is wanted and there's not enough of. There's scarcity in the market. So then what's a balanced market?
Awesome.
Yeah, right. And something that doesn't happen very often.
Right.
So especially in today's world, a balanced market is, you'll hear this a lot, 6 months of inventory available. That's kind of that sweet spot of a balanced market. When we have about 6 months, that means that there's typically a healthy amount of buyers and a healthy amount of sellers, and there's enough inventory to meet the demands of both. So we talk about this term a lot, especially recently in the real estate industry, is a shift.
Katie, I'm very sorry to interrupt you. How do we determine the amount of inventory? Is there like some kind of average, or is it just do we look at the TMO? I don't, how do we determine that specifically?
Corey, you might be my favorite person right now. That is an
Oh,
amazing.
stop it.
We're definitely gonna talk about that. I'll give you the short answer is the MLS. The MLS tells you how many homes are for sale. And they calculate how many months of inventory we have left. And what that means, months of inventory, is if nothing else came on the market, like from this point, if nothing else came on the market, we would sell out. All homes would be sold out in that many months. So we would run out of inventory in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. That's what months of inventory means. And that information comes from the MLS, and we'll talk about different places to get those numbers in just a minute. So thank you for saying that. Okay, so how do we go from how do we shift in the market? How do we go from a buyer's market to a balanced market to a seller's market? When does that happen?
I think it's usually when interest rates change, or, catastrophically large things happen in our world, like events, elections, things like that.
I know that you know a lot about real estate, so I am loving your answers. Exactly right. The change in interest rates could be one reason. Inflation could be another reason. Economic factors, political factors, world factors. All those things tie into the ability to buy and sell real estate. And so that would shift the market. I think the one that we talk about the most right now is interest rates. And when interest rates go up, that pulls some of the buyers out of the ability to buy homes. And so it may go from, and we'll talk about where we're at currently, but that could shift it. That could take the demand for buyers out, which means that there's more inventory, which means we could be moving towards more of a balanced market. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about inventory. And Corey, this is where we're going to answer your question. So as mentioned, inventory is the primary factor in determining what kind of market we are in. So the tool that we use to determine inventory is the MLS. If you are a member of the RMLS, you get something called a market action report every month, which is really cool because it gives you the data in graphs. And something that we use a lot to just interpret the market currently. So it will give you the answers to these questions. Does anybody know for their market, what is the inventory? How many months of inventory you have?
I think Hillsboro's at like 1.5 right now, 1.5 months.
Neil, I'm going to check your math. Well, not your math, your knowledge.
Or like 1.4.
So Portland Metro is at 2 months of inventory currently.
Oh, okay.
Well, that was in June, 2 months of inventory. Does anybody else know theirs?
I don't, but I'm curious to hear Capital City.
Corey, I would assume, and I know what assuming means, but I think it would be safe to assume this, that most of our markets are around that 1.5 to 3 months of inventory, which would mean what kind of market are we in if we have 1.5 to 3 months of inventory?
Sellers.
Seller's market. That's right, Neil. So does anybody know the average number of days a home stays on the market in your market?
I saw on my MLS that it was around 45 to 50.
Yeah. D, that's probably accurate. I wish I had all of your data. In Portland Metro, it's 33 days, which is an interesting number because the last time I did this presentation, my notes say 55 days. So it's not only important to know the number, right? We know it's 33 days. That's a conversation we can have with sellers setting expectations, or potential buyers setting expectations. But it's also good for us to understand that it's gone down, which means that homes are selling faster, which means that potentially buyers are coming back to the market. There's a higher demand for buyers these days. So 33 days on the market, or you said 45 to 50 days on the market? Ish. Okay. What's the average price a home in your market sells for?
I don't know. I just got access to MLS yesterday, so I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I will give you guys a break on that. So average sales price in Portland Metro, 598,400. 598,400. And I'll show you guys, just let me stop sharing for a second, pull up this other document so you can kind of see what I'm talking about, which is a really nice report that you can just glance at. If you don't have this information, I would definitely. Okay, so here's what a market action report looks like. And so when we're looking at, we're asking these questions, see inventory in months. This is a great graph that says, okay, and again, I'm in Portland Metro, so that's where my data is coming from. There's currently 2 months of inventory. And if we look back, last month or the month before was 1.9, 1.9, 1.6, 1.9. So 2, although extremely low, historically for the last 2 years, is on the higher side. So yes, it's still a seller's market. However, we're trending in the right direction. When we talk about, where is that data? Days on market, inventory increased to 2 months in June, total market decreased to 33 days on market. Average sales price, 590,400. So this is just a great way, instead of Corey like having to go into the MLS and like pull up all the listings and calculate that, the MLS will generate reports like this for you. And I love this, the trends, to say, okay, how are we doing over the month before or over the year before? Because that's really going to tell us how our market is doing, as opposed to just a whole number. Okay. I just want to make sure you guys saw that so you can see where to get the data. And then I'm going to pull up the slides again. Okay, we're back in action. Okay, so knowing the type of market, knowing what your inventory is and what the MLS statistics say, because that'll give you some great just initial talking points about the market. When you're at a party or at your friend's house or at a family gathering and people say, oh, how's the market? You can give them some information. Okay, the other piece in knowing your market is knowing interest rates and lender regulations. My asterisk here is I don't believe that you need to be the expert on interest rates and lender regulations. I believe in great relationships and great partnerships. And so having that relationship with lenders is important. However, there's some things and nuances about what lenders do and say that I think it's important for us to understand as real estate professionals. So what your material says is interest rates and lender regulations play important roles in the status of the market. As interest rates rise, buying power starts to dip because affordability decreases. We talked about this a little bit. We're experiencing this right now, the fluctuation in interest rates. So we don't necessarily need to know what the interest rate is at any given second, but we need to know if they're increasing or decreasing, because that kind of tells us how to have a conversation with our buyers and sellers, or who may or may not be able to buy and sell right now. These rising interest rates will take some buyers out of the market. Another important number to know for your market is the average down payment percentage for home buyers in the area. Again, this is where I would partner with a lender because they're going to know this information. I lost where I was in my notes. Oh, here we go. So paying attention to lender regulations can help agents or help you get a feel for where the market is headed. If lenders are changing their policies, they could be signaling that a market shift is on the way or already here. Lenders may be reacting to other economic factors that we aren't in tune with. So it's important to keep a close eye on these regulations for any changes. So that's why I'm saying it may not be your one thing to know the ins and outs of lending or the regulations or the changes, but understand that changes in interest rates or changes in regulations means something in the market. And so that's what I would dive into. What does that mean for our market? Does anybody know current interest rates? I just said you don't need to know at any second, but does anybody know current interest rates?
I think it's 6.6 somewhere there.
Take your word for it. I don't know. But it's good to know, like, hey, is that higher than yesterday? Is that lower? Is there something going on in the stock market? Is there some policy going to be released, or is there some type of scarcity in the market? Okay, next piece of knowing your market is economic factors. So economic factors are the best way to stay ahead of potential market shifts. So the things we've talked about so far, inventory, days on market, interest rates, those are lagging indicators of what's going on in the market. Something's happened, and now these factors are showing up. When we talk about economic factors, though, those are going to lead to interest rate changes, changes in regulations, changes in inventory. So if we want to get ahead of that conversation before these other factors show up, we want to look at economic factors. And what it says is look for patterns over time. So one thing that is super common is unemployment or employment/unemployment rates in your market. So what would rising unemployment mean for housing? What do you guys think?
Not anything good, right? If people aren't working, they're certainly not going to qualify for loans, and they're not going to be in a position to purchase a house. So.
Exactly, Dee. Yep, exactly. If we hear the economic factor that unemployment is rising, we know that purchasing a home or the amount of people with the ability to purchase a home has just gone down.
Mhm.
So to get ahead of interest rates and inventory and regulations, knowing that where we are with unemployment is important. How many workers are entering and exiting the workforce in your market? What would that tell you?
Well, that would tell us the influx and outgo of people coming in and out of our market centers. Like if a big company comes in, we're going to obviously have an increase of buyers, and maybe then that will decrease our inventory because we have that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You answered the next two questions.
Oh,
Entering and
sorry.
exiting the work. Oh no, thank you for saying, or thank you for wrapping them all up together, because they do relate. Growth in a community. So if a new company comes to town, or there's a lot of growth in a community or in a neighborhood, a new restaurant, a new school, then that's going to drive new jobs. It's going to drive more people to that area, that community, that neighborhood. And therefore, it's going to increase the amount of people wanting to purchase in that area, which on one side is really good, right? Like that's growth. And on the other side, it could tighten the inventory in that area. So it could be more competitive. Both are good things to know and be aware of.
Like the same thing on the local politics, like when things change politically in an area and people who lived in a place for a long time don't like the new shift, that increases a lot of houses on market because people don't want sometimes to experience new things, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. That, I mean, that's something we experienced in Portland Metro for sure. Over the last couple of years, there's been a lot of turmoil in Portland proper. And so it's caused a lot of people to want to move out of the area. So it's absolutely something that could go in the negative direction as well. I mean, it is listings. However, it is driving people out of Portland proper.
yeah, I think that's happening here, and just from what I'm hearing and people talk about, it seems like that's happening in Grants Pass as well. That there's a shift in things and people are like, nope, out, done. So
Yeah. And so I love that the book says this. It says, your job is not to become a research scientist. It is to understand how certain economic indicators could impact the housing market going forward. So when you're watching the news or having conversations or see something on social media, the point of this slide or this section is just to say that, how could that affect my market? How does that restaurant coming in, or how does Pips moving to the west side of Portland affect the community? How does Grants Pass having this exodus affect my market locally? And then the last one, the greatest title, other market factors. So as you begin to preview homes in certain neighborhoods and having open houses, it's good practice to become familiar with certain statistics of different neighborhoods in your market. So what other market factors can you think of that might be good to investigate? We've kind of mentioned some of these. Nearby shops and restaurants, nearby health facilities is a really big one, neighborhood attractions, roads, housing developments, new office buildings, gas stations, shopping centers, tech companies. These are all very micro level factors that may not affect the whole town or the whole city, but they could affect a neighborhood. And if that's where you're going to specialize your business, it would be good to know, or important to know, those micro level factors. Okay, any ahas or thoughts or questions on knowing your market?
I do have a question.
Yeah.
There's a lot of very micro things that happen in Oregon that, I didn't deal with in California, that, people do ask questions around, like grows and different, just different things. So I'm curious, what is the position? Is it I'm assuming it's a, you need to research this. I mean, we can't, it seems like a very fine line, a slippery slope as to what, is factual and what is opinion. Like, and what is is there a standard response from agents in this area to buyers around how to investigate certain things?
So, Dee, that's a great question. And I think that it's important for all of us to remember that our job is to be real estate consultants. What that means is we are here to provide the information and help people make the best decisions for themselves. So you said it's providing the resources. So if they're concerned about a specific factor, our job is to provide the facts or the information on that specific topic. So for example, we may not want to say that this is a great school, but we could say this school has won these awards, or this neighborhood is not the best neighborhood, but we may provide crime reports, or if it's ag land, I know that a big thing in Southern Oregon is marijuana farms. So you may be able to provide data on how many farms are in that area. Does that help?
Yeah, and I'm gonna research that and just kind of learn about that because it's very new to me, so. Yeah.
Yes,
Um,
something new for me too, do when I moved from California.
Aside from the RMLS, is there any other tools you recommend for researching your market?
Yes, and we're gonna get into that, Neil.
Okay.
Hold tight. Great question, though. I love that. Anyone else?
I think my aha basically is it puts you in a better position when you're talking to a client. They have confidence in you. They know, they can tell that you are informed, and then they build the confidence, in the making whether or not to hire you.
Yes, yes. A great leader once told me that as a leader, and we're leading clients, right? Your job is not to have all of the answers, but it's to know where to go to get them. So I would say, yes, it makes us the expert, or it makes us look knowledgeable when we can point towards different research or different numbers, or know where to go to get the data. Not necessarily that we need to have that answer right there, but be able to talk and understand and have a conversation around the topic. Okay, let's move on to build your expertise. So you know that that to connect with your market, you must know and keep up with the market. Yet you may be thinking, how do I learn about my market? There's so much to know. Okay, so build your expertise, become your real estate expert of choice. Knowing the numbers is just the first step. Understanding, interpreting, and applying the numbers to your market, to your lead generation and lead follow-up conversations are equally important. So when we talk about building your expertise, there are 4 areas: learn the market, learn your clientele, listen to individuals, keep the headlines in context. So let's talk about these 4. Learn the market. So on top of having the raw data, like we talked about, having the 2 months of inventory, the 33 days on market, have the trends. Having the trends is important as well. And we call this, you'll hear this a lot in our vernacular at Keller Williams, the lore, or the language of real estate. And we use these specific numbers to tell the story behind the data. So we look a lot at like listings taken volume, contracts written volume, contracts closed volume, because those numbers tell us what's coming in the next 30, 60, 90 days, right? Listings taken tells us, okay, well, in the next 30 days, there's going to be a closed transaction there. Same with contracts written, somebody's writing an offer. And then contracts closed tell us today how much inventory we have. So LORE, language of real estate, or lore report. It says it's important to be very focused on potential changes that seem to be more than seasonality or normal flow. Generally speaking, transactions and prices tend to be higher in the summer. So speaking to trends, higher in the summer, while market inventory typically slows down in the winter. We call this seasonality. Market fluctuation outside of this scope can indicate changes are coming. So if we know that Q1 is typically slower, and then Q2 and Q3 are heavier or stronger markets, more activity, and then Q4 slows down again, then we can expect that seasonality. We know that that's normal. And this happened during COVID, our seasonality was all out of whack. We had a really strong first quarter, second quarter, because March, the world shut down, nothing happened. So that was out of seasonality. And so that inventory or that production pushed till later in the year. So we had a really strong fourth quarter. So it kind of took our trend out of whack, which we saw happening in real time. But if we aren't following the economics and and we see these trends show up, that could be a light bulb or an indicator moment that there's a shift happening in the market. So what are some lead measures that could indicate these changes aside from COVID? What are some things in your business that you could be tracking that would tell you there's a shift in the market? Any thoughts? No right or wrong answers.
I guess something could be like inquiry calls, like, are we hearing from more buyers or more people talking about buying a new home or second home versus selling and moving somewhere else?
Absolutely, Dee. Inquiries, leads, the influx of people asking questions could tell you that there's a shift in the confidence in the market or a shift in the economy of the market. 100%. Great one. Same with appointments, the amount of appointments you're going on. If you're doing the same activities every day and you're just going on less appointments, there could be something that's shifted and we just haven't picked up on that yet. So keeping track of your specific numbers. So number 2, know your business. Notice the changes over time in your personal business is important too. Okay. Number 2 in build your expertise, learn the clientele. So as you are monitoring the numbers in your market, ask yourself who might benefit from current and future trends and who might be at risk. So knowing what we know about today's market, who might benefit right now?
Empty nesters. Right, because
Morning.
they could sell bigger homes and be able to have more money to purchase something, even though the smaller house might be higher price than what they were thinking, they would have the equity to be able to do that versus a first-time buyer.
Yeah, that's a great one. Empty nesters, people who need to downsize, they have equity in their home and they could potentially sell that home and pay cash for something smaller and not have the issue of interest rates.
Right.
That's a great one. Yeah. Who else might benefit right now? Sellers in general, right? We have low inventory, so now is a great time to sell. So knowing, even though we have inventory, tight inventory, it's still a great time to sell real estate. A lot of times in a shifting market, also we talk about the 6 Ds, death. So if there's a death in a family, that could be a reason to sell. Dependent, someone has a baby or is an empty nester. Divorce. Deployment, which could be actual like military deployment or a relocation. Death, divorce, dependent, deployment. Dividends, so someone comes into money, whether it's they get a signing bonus for a new job or they get an inheritance. And now that I'm on the spot, I can't remember number 6.
Diamonds. Getting married. Getting married.
Oh, I like that, Neil. It's not diamonds, but I'll take
I
that.
thought it was. Oh, that's what Josh said it was. So I was like, oh, people getting married and okay.
We're gonna call it diamonds. It is now diamonds. Yes, people getting married. That's a really good one. I'm literally gonna change that in everything I say now, Neil. Thank you for saying that.
You're absolutely welcome.
Yeah, so that's who could benefit from our market right now. So notice any trends in what people are saying to you. So part 2 of this is we know what's going on in the economy. So we know who is going to be able to take advantage of today's market, but it's also important to notice any trends in what people are saying to you in determining who is going to be in or be out in today's market. So new objections might come into the picture while others aren't as important suddenly. Recognizing patterns is key to building your expertise. So when you're having those questions or those conversations with family, friends, clients, potential clients, leads, what are they asking you? Is it the same thing that people were asking you last month or last quarter? If those conversations or those questions have changed, then your clientele may be different. Maybe you're calling a different group of people, or the market might have shifted. So it's just about being hyper aware of what's going on. Any other thoughts on learn your clientele? Okay, number 3, listen to individuals. So what it says here is go to where your people are. Talk with the people who are learning about the market, your clients and potential clients, and chat with them. And more importantly, listen to them. The knowledge they provide could be very helpful for you as you make sense of the market and, as importantly, what your clients think of the market. This is where media, social media can play a huge factor in what a client's belief of the market is. And this is where like you as the real estate professional get to have such an impact on people's beliefs. It's important to listen, right? Like, what are they saying? What information is being put out there in the news, in the media, on the socials about real estate? And then take that, the truth that they have, and bring reality to it. This is where we go back to the statistics and the raw data to say, well, here's the numbers and let me explain what this means. So to build your expertise, it's important to hear your clients and then bring your knowledge and expertise to the table. It says, for example, people may be saying interest rates keep going up, so I better buy now, or my neighbor's house hasn't sold, so I'm going to hold off selling mine because the market must not be good now. Well, we can tell them, well, actually, the days on the market has decreased from 55 to 33. So it's actually a better time to buy now as opposed to when your seller did 3 months ago, or your neighbor did 3 months ago. What other things could individuals be saying right now? Or have you heard people saying?
Well, I've heard that people are thinking the interest rate is too high, right?
Yeah, that's a good one, Dee.
But historically, they're not. I mean,
Yeah.
I bought my first house at like 15% interest, and that was pretty much okay because it wasn't 20%. So everything is relative. Right?
Everything is relative. And this is where having a lender partner could be super beneficial, right? They have so many programs out there to buy down interest rates or have an adjustable rate mortgage. So not only giving them the historical data, but also, well, here's some of your options. If you still want to buy right now, you can have that low interest rate by doing these things. So that's a great one, Dee. I love that. Okay. And my favorite one, keep the headlines in context. So a lot of times, and we all know this, media is trying to grab your attention. And so headlines, if not read all the way through, could be deceiving. So it's important, what it says here is, as you learn your market and your clientele, be aware that headlines can be persuasive. Once you figure out where your clients get their information, read what they read and see if you can help them expand their understanding. So again, it's all about us having the data. Always pay attention to your local MLS and stay on top of what's happening in your market. Your clients rely on you to put the market in context for them. not your job to read every article, but if you know your numbers, when somebody sends you an article or when a client mentions something, you can say, tell me more about that, because here's the data I have, and I'm the expert. Okay, any on-calls on that section? Build your expertise. All right. So next one is utilizing your resource. You know how to build your expertise and your knowledge of the market. Let's explore some tools to help you. So if you haven't already, there are two KW apps. Let's see. Okay, I think can't see them on my screen. There's two KW apps for you to download that will help you in staying on top of your micro market. One of them is KW Command, because that's going to help you keep track. It's the red app with the white KW. It's going to help you keep track of that information about your business. So leads, calls, appointments, transactions, so you can recognize shifts in your business. There's also a white KW app or a white app with a red KW. That's for your clients. And it's the one that's tied to the MLS so that they can be searching for properties. And that app is beneficial in two ways. One, it's the one that your clients use that makes you look like an expert. And you can keep track of what they're keeping track of. So it saves searches in your database and it saves properties in your database that your clients are saving. So you can look like the expert and know what they love based on what they're saving in their app. But it also gives you the capability to have access to what's going on what inventory is on the market at any given time. So the red KW app is tracking your business. The white KW app is going to be tied to the market. So it makes you look like you have all the information for your clients. This is the desktop version of Command. So a lot of you have probably done, or hopefully have done the tech questionnaire to get your Command set up. And this can track, you can kind of see in this picture, database health, how many phone numbers, emails, addresses, neighborhoods you have in your database. But it also tracks your conversions and your appointments and how close you are to hitting your goals so that you can see, is seasonality showing up in my business, or am I doing less activities, and why is that happening? Any questions on Command or the KW apps? Is anybody using any other tools to track the market? Neil, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I have this RPR app
Mhm.
from the National Associated of Realtors, but that's about all. So I don't know if there's any other tools, but I do use KW Command as well, though.
I love that. And RPR is a phenomenal tool. If you haven't already, you guys check out RPR. That's a good one. When it comes to the news, Neil, I know you had said, like, where's other places to get data or get information? This is silly. I subscribe to the Morning Brew, and it tells you like just stories about what's going on in the economy every single day.
I love
it
the
just
Morning
gives-
Brew. It's my favorite. I love it
Isn't
so
it good?
much. Yeah.
That's a really good one to just keep a pulse on what's going on in the economy. I'm looking at my phone to tell you about other apps.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
A mortgage calculator app is always good to have, so you can help people to calculate down payments. I
Yeah.
have the Place Mortgage one. So if you go to the App Store and just type in Place Mortgage Calculator, it should
Okay,
come
awesome. Oh yeah. Okay.
It also, if that one doesn't, you might find one that gives you like daily interest rates. That's another great app to have. There's one called Mortgage Daily that will give you daily interest rates.
Sweet. I'm gonna download those right now. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Okay, we talked about the KW app. Okay, another place to show up as an expert. Social media. Hold on, I gotta skip through a couple pages. Or another tool, I should say. This is a strategy for social media. 10-5-1. It's a daily habit. Like 10 posts a day, write on 5 comments a day, and send 1 direct message a day. If you want to show up as a local expert or connect with your market or your community, here's a great way to do that. Be commenting on people's posts, be liking their posts about communities, be sharing information about communities if they're out doing something. Let's see. Oh, okay, so here's what your notes, or here's what the notes say. This will be covered more thoroughly in a later day of Ignite, and yet this is something to begin practicing now. Social media is a great way to market yourself freely, and you should be active on many, if not all, of the proper social media networks. Listen, there's a lot of social media networks right now, so I don't know that you need to be active on all of them. What I would say is choose the one that relates to you and your clientele. If you have a lot of friends that are on TikTok or Twitter or Thread, like, get on those. If the majority of your friends and family and potential clients are on Facebook or Instagram, get on those. Pick the 1 or 2 that your clientele are going to be on and invest time in those. What it says here, a tip: when you post on social media, you should follow an 80-20 posting plan. 80% of your posts should not be about real estate. They should be about other interests you have. Only 1 out of every 5 original posts you create should be about real estate. So on page 3.8 in your book, in your participant guide, there is an activity labeled brainstorming your social media personality. I think this is fun. It says, open your social media and look at some of your recent posts and liked posts and make a list of your interests that do not include real estate. Or on Instagram or on Twitter, if you go to like your For You page or like your search page, it'll give you a bunch of suggestions of people to follow or posts to like. That's a good place to check out your interests to determine if you're posting 5 personal things to every 1 business thing. Who do you want to attract? Who do you want to be in business with? I'll tell you, for me, there's a lot of things about toddlers because I have a 2-year-old. There's a lot of things about dogs because I have 2 dogs. And there's a lot of things about things to do in Portland because we like to get outdoors. So when I'm thinking about my social media personality, there's a lot of things about, and food. We like to eat food. There's a lot of things about those specific topics.
So I heard this cool thing the other day, just as a side note, on the algorithms of Facebook and Instagram that talked about this kind of thing, but it was very specific about doing at least 5 likes, at least 5 comments with more than 5 words in other people's comments, and then sending a direct message before you ever make a post of your own. That will, if you get in the habit of that, that changes the algorithm and puts your posts in front of more people. So like you make a list and you rotate down the 5, like the 5 people each day, and it will change how you appear in their threads.
Whoa, hot tip from Dee. I love that.
Yeah, I haven't tested it yet, but it sounds pretty good. And people that were commenting on this little strategy said that it absolutely was working and getting their information out front. So
it's 5 likes, 5 comments with more than 5 words, and
5 different people,
5 different people,
and at least 1 direct message each day before you do anything on your own page.
The rule of five. I think we need to call that the rule of five.
That's what they called it, actually. Yeah. So there you go.
I love that. Okay, you guys. That's an even better tip. But if you're and as you're establishing your social media presence as a real estate professional, it's important to attract people like you. We want to work with people like us, right? We like us. We want to attract more of us. So determining your social media personality is going to be important to attracting the right people to your business. People who already know you, like you, and trust you based on who you are as a human are going to be more likely to know you, like you, and trust you as a real estate professional. So following the rule of five, and determining what you want to be known for. Was that same slide in here twice? Not funny. Okay. Other enrichments. The other enrichments portion of your daily success system is about knowing the numbers and gaining a strong foundational knowledge of real estate. So these 6 things as daily success habits not only help you build your business, but help you become the local expert. So study your market center reports. Your market center is your office. And every month we put out reports and trends on what's going on statistically in our office and compare it to the MLS. So you can ask your team leader for your market center reports, and that'll give you a great place to start from a micro level of what's going on. Dee said at the beginning, preview homes. It's a great way to get to know your market. Take an MLS course. Neil, I think RPR has, or MLS, the MLS has courses on RPR. So that's a great place to get some more data. Visit and hold open houses. Somebody said at the beginning, they're holding 2 open houses this weekend. Phenomenal way to get to know people, ask questions, understand what their objections are or what headlines they're reading, and also get to know neighborhoods because you're going to go door knocking before the open house. Study the language of real estate, read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, the MREA, if you haven't already. Another one on there is to read Shift. Either one can come first. They're interchangeable as far as importance goes. What else? What else do you guys think are important daily habits to get to know your market? I'll tell you one that I think is important is surrounding yourself with other real estate professionals. So going into your office and talking with other agents, masterminding with other agents. That's a quick way to be able to learn not only about what's going on in the market, but good business strategies. And sometimes learn from their mistakes too, bad business strategies that you don't want to do. But surrounding yourself with other business professionals, other real estate professionals is going to be a great success habit. Okay, you guys, any ahas? Any thoughts, comments, questions? No?
Just mostly just kind of giving me some ideas to move forward. So not really any questions or anything, but just kind of open my eyes to a few additional ideas before I get moving.
Yeah. Corey, thank you for saying that. This topic is important, right? Like we need to know our market. We need to know how to become a local expert because that's what our clients want. That's why they're working with us because we are the professional and know that this will come with time. And the more that you plug into the numbers and ask questions about the numbers and study the numbers, the more it'll come natural being able to have those conversations. So yes, this is one that will quickly get you to be the expert on the market. Any other thoughts? Okay, so to recap, we talked about knowing your market, what type of market we're in, what inventory means about the market, what interest rates and lender regulations mean about the market, how economic factors can affect our market, and how local neighborhood factors can affect the micro economic market of an area. And then once we know the market, how do we use that information to become the expert? So we study the trends, we talk to and listen to our clientele and what their objections are, and the seasonality of the market. And then we pay attention to the news, but never forgetting the data is what's most important. The headlines will tell a story, but are they telling the accurate story? Okay, here are your thinking questions, ahas to achieve. How has your thinking changed? What ideas or mindsets are new? What do you feel differently about? What was meaningful to you today? How will your behaviors be different going forward? What actions will you take? And what tools, models, or systems will you use? How will they make you accountable? Any final comments, questions, thoughts? Anything else you guys want to talk about today? We flew through that. No? Okay.
But I think it just helped me like to see the importance of knowing the information, knowing data, knowing what's happening around me, like inflation numbers and so on. When you're talking to clients, having that confidence, I think that is quite important. One needs to know these numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. I print out the MLS market action report. I carry it with me until I've memorized those numbers for the month. And then I run a new one next month. So being able to know where to get that data and then being able to talk to it, right? And again, that'll come with time. And I have a cheat sheet with me all the time. I carry our market center numbers with me. I carry the market action report with me because you never know when you're going to have that conversation. So it's good data to have.
Where do we grab our market center reports from actually? Good. Can I just print that out from?
So I will get you those numbers. You're in my office. So
Yeah, I am.
I will get you those numbers. I'm trying to think. So every office transmits our what day of the month is it? Oh yeah, we should have them by now. Every office, we transmit our numbers to Keller Williams International every month. And so around the 10th of the month, the numbers from last month come out. So I always want to make sure we have the most up-to-date numbers, but I'll get those to you, Neil.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And who do we contact in our, is there a go-to person for those for our market center?
I would reach out to Kayri, to your team leader.
Team leader, okay.
Yeah, your team leader will have that data.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else, you guys?
It was a great class. It really opened my eyes a lot to, this is really going to help me learn my new area. Just knowing all this, it felt pretty overwhelming, but this feels very doable to me.
And it's one step at a time. If all you do is download the market action report, then you're smarter tomorrow than you were today.
Yeah.
And then you can start reading headlines and then get a lender friend. So it's a process, and you still know more than your clients do.
Yeah. Yes.
I have a question totally and completely unrelated to everything that we talked about today. But I just got a reply to one of my email blasts in Command, and she's requesting that I change her name in Command because her first name is Carrie Lynn, like 2 words. I can only figure out how to tell Command, like, I can't figure out how to tell Command to put both Carrie Lynn, 2 separate words, in her first name on the email blast. Do you have any idea how to do that?
I don't.
No, I've never had that problem before. Okay.
If you email ASD, well, actually, which market center are you in, Caitlin?
Eugene.
If you email front desk
Okay.
683 your agent services coordinator will figure it out for sure.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? You guys made this fun. Thank you. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for investing in your career. And I'm excited. If you guys need anything, you can reach out to me. I'm here for you. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazing, what is it, Thursday?
Mhm.
Okay,
Hey,
cool.
thanks for pushing through this, not feeling well. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Yeah,
it. You guys made it
you.
fun.
Hope you feel
Thank you so
better.
much.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.